Hello and welcome to After the Whistle. I am your host, Brian Dorrington, here with Maserati Mukala Kabungo. And what has he got in his hand?
I just have a good feeling about this whole week. This is a great week.
Why is this a great week?
We got a long weekend coming up. I'm going away. The Patriots won. NBA is back.
So you just and hockey's back. So you just decide holding a cigar. Not to your lips, but just between two fingers.
Yes.
That's going to express how happy you are.
Pretty much.
Throughout the rest of the week.
Can you see my excitement for basketball?
I can see.
The NBA is back.
Oh, okay. So that's what it's about. Okay.
This is for Red Auerbach. So when the Celtics win the banner 18, no, I won't.
No, you won't actually smoke it. No. You'll just hold it in your hand because it looks cool. Well,
we got a lot to talk about.
So let's jump into something that I guess excited both of us to see, and that's the rebound game after a couple back-to-back losses by the New England Patriots, beating the Dolphins 38-7. What are your takeaways?
I think we called it because
we
both didn't trust no one on the Dolphins.
No.
We knew their 3-0 start couldn't be taken seriously because anytime they come up to, they haven't won in New England in 10 years. So that's number one.
Yeah.
They really haven't been tested that much by any team, and Ryan Tannehill went back to the guy. I'm like, you can't do nothing with him. He's not that good of a quarterback. He's a decent quarterback. He'll be good against terrible teams, but against better competition, he won't do nothing. Which shows 11 for 20, 100 yards, and an interception. And then there was also a fumble that happened, which wasn't his fault. It was the center's fault, but still, the Dolphins just
Van Noy got in on that one real quick.
The Dolphins just got dominated that entire game, every aspect.
I don't think Tannehill, he didn't play his best, but the Patriots did what I've been looking for them to do the whole time, and that's control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Especially on offense, they were able to dominate the Dolphins' defensive line. And then on defense, Tannehill was under pressure a lot. I don't know. I think we only had like 2 total sacks for the whole game.
Yeah.
But a lot of hits, and he was under some pressure, and he was never given the chance to get comfortable. So that was one of the most positive things to see because past 2 weeks we just got dominated up front. Yeah. And now you see, I think we had a total 175 rushing yards on 40 carries. Yes, Sony Michel went over 100 yards.
A couple times in the early parts of the season. He really came out, and James White, he does what he does: run, catch. He was Mr. Do It All. Those two in the backfield, they really help. And Cordell Patterson, I liked how he played.
I liked how Dorsett played too.
Dorsett is one guy we said he's been stepping up since last year. Last year he did nothing. This year I think he finally understands the offense. I like how they try to get Josh Gordon involved. They threw him. So they didn't have him a lot out there, but they made an effort to try to get him the ball. He made some catches here, so I think there's some positives to go in for the upcoming game. Yeah,
well. It was also both catches were on third down for third down conversions. Yep. So that was huge. And then he had a great block. I forget on which touchdown run, but he had a great block that he drove to get. I think it was the James White rushing TD. It was just an all-around great performance. And the Dolphins, we both said that they're not a good 3-0 team. They still were a 3-0 team. They're middle of the road. They're going to be a 500 team this season. So I think it was not the best measuring stick to how the Patriots are going to do.
They needed a
win. Then again, they were the number one in the AFC East.
Yep.
Okay, so the Miami Dolphins.
They still are.
And they still are. Well, record-wise, I don't think it's going to last very long. I think the Patriots will sweep given how well that they played. But it was good to see the receivers playing well. And this is only going to increase as the more familiar they get with the offense and with the addition to Julian Edelman, who's going to be coming back.
It's going to be a great one.
So
good addition. It's going to help everybody out. Especially he's a great slot receiver. So now you got, if Gordon could, him and Brady develop a rapport, he'll be that threat on the outside. So there's a lot of good things to look forward to. Hopefully the defense can play well again, and the offensive line can protect Brady.
That was another thing. The defense did a really good job of slowing down the very fast receivers of the Miami Dolphins. I don't know what type of coverages they were running, but it looked like they got physical up front, and they had some safeties.
Yeah.
It seemed like deeper than normal, but whatever they did, they were able to take that speed away. And Kyle Van Noy, I think, had the game of his life. I think he's really coming on strong. I think he has the ability to be a really good asset in this defense. So all around, great game. Let's talk about the team that we're going to face this coming week. It's actually a Thursday night game, so tomorrow. And that's the Colts, who are just coming off a tough overtime loss.
Confusing loss to me.
Yeah.
Very confusing. Number one, I still don't understand why they have Andrew Luck throwing the ball 62 times. Why?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I think the first game he threw the ball over 50 times. Now, I don't understand why they have him throw the ball this many times. Nothing good comes when someone throws it. Any quarterback, I don't care how great you are, anytime you throw the ball that many times, it's just not a balanced offense. You're predictable at that point. So that, and then it comes down to overtime. Now the Colts, a 4th and 5, they're in their own territory, I believe, and they will. Instead of punting away just to, let the game end in the tie. Who cares? End in the tie. They go for it, give the Texans short field. Deshaun Watson hit DeAndre Hopkins for a big play, and boom, game's over. They literally just gave the game away. It's better to end the game in a tie.
See, a lot of people are criticizing that call, and I totally disagree. I think that you don't play for a tie. You play these games to win. You don't want to just settle. It was a 4th and 5. It's only 27 seconds left in the game. You're just going to punt and say, you know what, we'll take a tie. Yeah. But then there's still enough time for Deshaun Watson to make a great play downfield and still kick the field goal. No. It was a 4th and 5. I think that you got to play to win. If you play to a tie, you shouldn't be an NFL coach. I think it was the right decision. And
the tie would help them out in the long run because.
But nobody thinks about that, how their record's going to look in the long run. I know, but nobody's going to think, oh, you know what, this will look good on our. No, or at least no coach should be thinking, yeah, this may help us down the line if it comes to some sort of a playoff tiebreak or something like that. No, you got to think about winning the game in that game only. And I think it was the right decision, and I would have made it if I were a coach. But then again, I would never coach anything in my life,
especially on 4th and 5. Maybe if it was 4th and 2, 4th and 3, 4th and 1, I would. 4th and 5, no, because you've shown you haven't been able to execute on these 3rd down, 4th downs the whole game, and the pass wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. It was at the guy's feet.
Well, Andrew Luck is certainly not himself.
Yeah, it was at the guy's feet. At that point, you just go for the tie. You don't lose the game. It won't affect you. Just go for the tie at this point. Maybe if there was a different rule, you just continue on playing, I'd be like, okay. But
I would like to. There's been too many games ending in ties, and I hate that in football. I think after a quarter, maybe they should go to a 25-yard fight, like they do. No, like they do. They do that in college, and it works well.
I hate that college.
Well, I don't know. It at least settles the game.
Just play until somebody wins. Just keep going until somebody
scores. Yeah, but then there's the NFL's too injury prone for that. The players union would never allow that.
But they throw them out to Thursday night football after a hard-fought game like that. That's gonna suck. Speaking of Thursday night football, the Colts and the Patriots.
Well, let me ask you a question. So the Texans end their 9-game losing streak. Do you have faith in Deshaun Watson, Bill O'Brien now? Any faith?
Deshaun Watson, not Bill O'Brien.
Okay.
Bill O'Brien that game, he also showed why he's not a great head coach and why I don't think he should be a head coach.
Strong words from Mukala.
I don't trust Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien, the Canadian. Mukala, you know.
Texans want to win a Super Bowl, get rid of Bill O'Brien.
Well, I don't think they're a Super Bowl team. I don't think they're a playoff team, nor do I think the Colts are a playoff team. If they get a different coach, they would be. Okay.
The Colts and Pats this Thursday. This seems like a game set up for the Pats to win. I think the Patriots have dominated the Colts since Andrew Luck has gotten there. I think this is a game the Patriots could really rely heavily on their running game. The Colts defense is not that great. Keep Andrew Luck on the sideline. Just wear them down. If you wear them down, they will crumble. They're not. The Colts offense is not that, it's not scary or anything. They really don't have that many threats. It's just they have a good quarterback, but their weapons are...
Their number one weapon, T.Y. Hilton, is doubtful. He's most likely not going to play, and he's their only all-star, I think, on this, all-pro on this offense. So, and Jack Doyle, the tight end, who's, a decent threat, he's doubtful too. So I don't think either of his, two of his top receiving options, Andrew Luck, are going to be able to play. And they can't block for him. They've never been able to block for Andrew Luck. They drafted a guard, I think, like what? Very early, 5 or early R or something. They're still having those same problems. And Luck is not 100%
at all.
I mean, he doesn't have the same velocity on his ball. Yeah, he put up good numbers last week. They looked good, but again, he played 5 quarters and had 62 attempts. Yeah. So if you scale that out, hey, Andrew Luck, his numbers weren't all that great.
So this game is tailor-made for the Patriots to dominate. Then they'll get 10 days off. They could recoup, figure things out, especially on the defensive end. But this game, I don't see the Colts coming out this game. It's in Foxborough, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know who's going to have a huge game?
And they're coming off overtime.
Exactly. You know who's going to have a huge game? Trey Flowers. I predict three sacks for Trey Flowers.
I predict 5 from Adrian Claiborne. You heard it from me.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're a lot of sacks in this game.
A lot of sacks. On to the next game. This could be this team right here, I think, we could see them in the Super Bowl.
Well, I said it at the very beginning.
Yeah. I'm talking about the Los Angeles Rams against the vaunted Minnesota Vikings defense, who Jared Goff made
look like... It's a $10 word, vaunted. I like it.
Jared Goff made that defense look like some JV players out there. He was slinging it. Their first touchdown possession took all but, I think, like 2 plays or something. Cooper Kupp, this guy... He's been playing out of his mind the past week. No one can cover him.
Oh, yeah.
The Rams' offense is a well-balanced attack. Todd Gurley with running and catching. Brandon Cooks, for all we've said about him, he's really been a big help for them. And they're just dominating it. Their defense, they didn't play well on defense that game, but they made a big defensive play at the end against the guy I've said don't trust, Kirk Cousins. And what did he do? He did what Kirk Cousins does. He turned it over at the end. Granted, it was a great play by the defensive end that caused the fumble.
Yeah, I don't know if you can really hold that one on Cousins. Cousins played a decent game. Because you don't like him, but he did play a decent game.
Yeah, he did.
422 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions.
Can you talk about that Vikings defense?
Well, first I just want to bring up, you mentioned that they do have great balance. Look at this. This is just crazy. Cooks, Woods, and Kupp all had at least 5 catches, all went over 100 yards, and all scored a touchdown. I mean, that's just crazy production from your wide receivers. Yeah. And they have a mix between speed, quickness, and some decent size, even though Brandon Cooks is a little undersized. So.
And then Gurley, he comes out the backfield. He comes out the backfield catching it, or they just give it to him. He can run in between the tackles, or he can run outside. The guy, he's one of those all-around running backs.
It's the greatest show on turf 2.0.
Definitely. Now we go on to another game. The Chiefs.
I just want to mention one thing though before we do that. Aaron Donald finally got his first sack, and he had 2, and so did Ndamukong Suh. But those were 2 really, high-profile guys that hadn't stepped it up in the first few games.
I think the camp we're seeing the results of missing camp and missing preseason. Yeah. But I think they might get it rolling.
We'll
see. But we're seeing some of the effects of missing camp in preseason. Now the guy Patrick Mahomes, early candidate for MVP this far. This is the game that everybody wanted to see. Can he do it on the road? You said you called the Broncos.
I did predict the Broncos.
A lot of people did because it's a tough environment to play. But that fourth quarter, they had 2 impressive touchdown drives. The first touchdown drives to cut the lead, I believe they went. It was not a long sustained drive. Mahomes was making plays despite they were trying to screw themselves up with all the penalties as well. They had a few penalties on that drive, but Mahomes, he was just making plays after plays and running out the pocket, finding the open man. He made a lot of plays just escaping the pocket. The play of the game had to be the left-handed throw on the run with Von Miller right on his tail.
That's something that you don't want to do too often. Yeah. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it's going to...
That's Brett Favre's.
Yeah, it's not going to end well for you. But this showed Mahomes not just, we knew he had talent, but this showed his growth as a player, being able to come back and lead his team to a fourth quarter
win.
They
were down 10, I believe, right?
Yeah.
They were down 23-13.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that you want to see in a quarterback. Yeah, he has skill, but when he's down and he's out, can he rally and can he rally his team to come back? And especially against a really good defense in a tough environment, it shows a lot, not just about his skill, but how he's developing as a professional quarterback.
No interceptions.
Yeah, still all season.
No interceptions.
It's crazy.
Also, a guy who I'm really impressed, I was impressed with, was Kareem Hunt. He, 19 carries, 121 yards.
He's on my fantasy team. He did me very well this week.
He turned out to be a problem for the Broncos because they'd get him out, spread him out, and they'd hand it off to him, and he'd just find the lanes to get a lot of yardage. But I think the drive before they took the lead, I think that drive was probably the most impressive drive I've seen this far this season. How they remained calm even though they were down 10, and it was crazy in there. Denver's defense was getting after him. The crowd was crazy, and that drive really, I think that drive was very impressive.
Yeah, all right, so let's move on to another young quarterback who pretty much played lights out.
This guy, me and you, were both iffy about. We're not sure.
I think most people were iffy about him. He hasn't, had the chance to prove himself yet. But Mitch Trubisky, so the Bears crushed the Buccaneers and ended the Fitzmagic, 48-10. Sorry, Fitz Magic fans. I admit I was one of them. I wanted to see him succeed, but I think we both knew it wouldn't last.
Yeah, we did.
Trubisky, 354 yards, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 154 QB rating. Are the Bears for real?
Remember when we were doing our early season prediction after the Bears had made the trade? I said we should watch out for the Bears. They might be they might be the second best or third best team in the conference in that division. Right now, they're the best team in that division. Khalil Mack has forced a fumble in every single game so far. Their defense, all that young talent, it looks like their defense is coming together. And it helps to play the Bucs. The Bucs, I don't know what they were doing on defense.
They have no defense.
If you watch that game, every single one of those touchdowns or every big play, the receiver was running wide open. There was nobody near him. So we don't know what the Bucs were doing. But this is just impressive for the Bears, a young team. They're building together. They're creating some momentum here, and they could be one of those teams we look at the end of the season. We're like, okay, this team, they have the defense, the quarterback is playing well, the receivers are starting to play well. They have a nice young running back who can run the ball very well when you need him to. So the Bears,
two nice young running backs. Tariq Cohen.
Yeah,
he hadn't played too well, but he was the human joystick.
Yeah,
he was on my fantasy bench. He put up way bigger numbers this week than Jordan Howard.
Yeah.
So and then they got Allen Robinson.
He finally came. He had 2 catches, but alive. It looks like he's finally getting right after that ACL. Because usually with an ACL, when you're coming back from a torn ACL, it's like 2 months.
Especially as a wide receiver.
Yeah, it's like 2 months into, you got to wait a couple months into the season, you'll see them develop. But Taylor Gabriel and Cohen and Burton.
And Trey Burton's starting to play a lot better.
Yeah,
so
this is a team to watch out.
It is a team to watch out for. And it's going to be, can't wait to see them play the Packers. Because those are always fun games to watch.
Did the Browns get screwed on Sunday?
Yeah, but they also screwed themselves by blowing leads of 10, 14, and 8. But the referees didn't help.
Yeah, the referees didn't help at all, especially with that fumble that I don't know what I don't even know what happened on that play, but there was a clear fumble. I don't know why they blew the play dead, but this is one of those results of protecting the quarterback at all costs. They prematurely blew the whistle, cost the Browns a touchdown, and then the fourth down, it was fourth down or third down?
I don't remember.
I think it was third down. 3rd down and 1. It looked like they got the first down. They said he got the first down. Then they reviewed it and said he didn't. From what I saw,
from every angle, it looked like
he got the first down. So that was a little home cooking right there for the Raiders. But the Browns had ample opportunity to stop them. The Raiders scored on the 4th down. They scored a touchdown on the 4th down. Then they got the 2-point conversion. So the Browns had plenty of opportunity to steal that game. Even with those 2 bad calls, they had enough opportunities to win that game.
Exactly. You can't blame the refs. I mean, they were up 8 points with under 2 minutes to go, and they ended up losing to a Raiders team who's been totally average this entire season, below average. I mean, this was their first win. The Browns are going to give everybody trouble, I think. I think that they're so used to losing that they're always going to find a way. They're almost more comfortable losing, I feel like. But they're a decent team now, and they're going to give a lot of teams trouble. They're going to be in there. Baker Mayfield is going to continue to grow. He had 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Yep. One was a pick six. It wasn't really his fault.
First play of the game.
Yeah, it was the first play of the game, but it wasn't really his fault. But Derek Carr impressed me. Derek Carr did impress me finally. So he put up some numbers, and Jared Cook.
Well, yeah, he's been the most impressive player on the Raiders.
I think he's probably been a top tight end in the NFL at this point.
Yeah. Oh, Jason Witten said Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the NFL.
Yeah, I heard that.
I almost lost my mind. I want to know what is he watching. He's not even the 3rd best tight end in the NFL, but. Yeah, as we go on.
Jason Witten has not done very good on commentary.
No, he has
I think they think just because you're a Dallas Cowboys player that maybe he'll do well. Jason Witten, you got some work to do.
And another shootout down in Atlanta, the Bengals and Falcons. Falcons won off, last play of the game. Well, it wasn't the last play, but pretty much was the last play. Scored a go-ahead touchdown to A.J. Green with about 10 seconds left. And the thing about this game is these receivers are just wide open. There was nobody near them, nobody within a mile of them. And what happened to the defense in the NFL? All these receivers are just running wide open with nobody about them, especially that last play. Why is he wide open in the end zone?
Blown coverage. That's what it is. I mean, they have some legitimate threats. I mean, Boyd has played well. He's been getting more targets. And
he's going to get more now that Eifert's hurt.
That Eifert's hurt. Yeah, Eifert. What was it? Broke his leg. That it didn't look very good. A couple broken legs this week, and we'll talk about other ones. But are the Bengals for real? I mean, they look pretty sharp. Giovanni Bernard's playing pretty well. Joe Mixon will be back soon. They got a good offense. I think they need some work on defense, but
a lot of work.
They have Andy Dalton. And he's sort of one of those Blake Bortles type, Alex Smith type guys where you can't really trust in the postseason. But right now, the Bengals look like a pretty good team in the AFC.
They do, but their problem is the playoffs. They for some reason, they're allergic to winning in the playoffs. So I'm never going to jump on the Bengals bandwagon ever until they show me that they can win a big game, a playoff game, because they haven't been able to do that in 15 years. The last playoff win was in I think the 80s. Mm-hmm. The last time they went to the Super Bowl. I think that was the last time they won a playoff game. So
I'll take your word for it.
So I don't trust the Bengals. Good job for them winning. Just keep on winning. Just show me in the playoffs and make me a believer. If you can't do it in the playoffs, womp womp.
Let's get into a team I am buying into, and I wouldn't say I'm on their bandwagon, but I'm thinking that they're a serious threat, and that's the Tennessee Titans. They beat the Eagles 26-23, and Mike Vrabel looks like he's got his team.
What he's doing.
He looks like he knows what he's doing. The team believes in him. He's done very well with the defense. The offense, their running attack hasn't been so great, but Mariota's been playing all right. Corey Davis finally showed up this week and showed that he can be one of the best wide receivers. And they took out the Super Bowl champions.
And they were down 17-3 at one point in this game, and they were able to fight their way back. The drive to win the game, they converted a lot of third downs, fourth down. They converted a couple fourth downs. The Eagles, they just, all they need is one stop, you win the game. But they could have stopped them on fourth down a few times. And Corey Davis wide open in the end zone. So this is a big win for the Titans, especially in that division. They've already beaten the Jaguars, so they're beating the Jaguars and the Eagles back-to-back weeks. So they're showing everybody that they should be taken seriously after beating two teams who, some would say may be in the Super Bowl. So I think the Titans got a good thing going right now. Marcus Mariota, he plays well. He doesn't turn the ball over. He makes smart decisions, so the Titans.
He does what he needs to do to get the win. And the Philadelphia Eagles, the Eagles are going to be in trouble if they cannot protect Carson Wentz because he has been getting hit a lot.
This is a must-win for them again. Well, it's a must-win for both teams, Vikings and Eagles, this coming weekend.
Yeah.
So this is a big game. I don't know if you really want to talk about the Packers and Bills. There was not much happening.
Oh, I didn't even see that on here. We can skip it.
Yeah. So the Ravens and Steelers. had a big game this weekend.
But we can't talk about how bad that those jerseys look.
Yeah, those are some ugly
Those
jerseys.
are awful, and I hate when they do those throwback things.
Me either. And the best quarterback, the alleged best quarterback in the league, has not been playing like the best quarterback in the league the first month of the season. But the Ravens, they were all over the Steelers. The Steelers, once again, started off slow. Their defense can't stop anybody. The Ravens had their way. They wanted to do whatever they want.
Steelers didn't score a point in the second half.
Zero. And I think it's because they become predictable. It's when you get down, what's Ben going to do? He's going to try to force it to Antonio Brown.
Or Juju Smith-Schuster.
And now we've seen without Le'Veon Bell, their offense isn't diverse as it was last year. So, you throw 8 in coverage, or you want to beat us with the pass, go ahead, because you got nothing.
Yeah, I think it goes beyond just Le'Veon Bell. I think that there's some inner turmoil in that locker room. As
always.
Yeah, as always. There's always distractions there. There's rumors now that Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown aren't on the same page. And I think that there's trouble in Pittsburgh. And I think the Baltimore Ravens, they're a serious team as well.
Yeah, they look serious. They look very serious, especially the way they're playing on both sides of the ball. They look very serious. Le'Veon Bell, they're saying he may be coming back during the bye week or so, but I think he's coming back to get that check. And they're going right back to what he's doing.
Yeah, well, we can talk about Le'Veon Bell right now, I guess, with Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas got hurt.
Broken leg,
and it was kind of like a freak play.
Second broken leg.
It was a freak play too, and nobody touched him. He was just coming down, and then he flipped the bird to the Seattle Seahawks sideline.
What's your take on that?
I don't blame him one bit. I don't blame him for flipping the bird because NFL. He wanted a new contract. They didn't want to give it to him. He held out. And he was very rebellious this entire time. He's like, if I'm sick, I'm not practicing. If I got a little headache, I'm not practicing, because he wanted that new contract. And this is one of the things that Le'Veon Bell was, one of the reasons why he was holding out or wanted a long-term contract, because stuff like this could happen. But I feel bad for Earl Thomas. And he was playing solid football, too. I think he was one of top 3 leading the league in interceptions as well. So it's just sad to see what happened, especially with all that was going on. But I think we've all had moments where we've been unhappy with our employer.
Especially, and you're emotional, you have a broken leg, you're probably in some pain, and you realize your season's over. Although they say he could be back for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's not
I don't think
back.
Seattle's going to be there in the Super Bowl, but they say he could make that recovery. I don't buy the whole Le'Veon Bell thing. There's injuries every single week. Like you said, this was a freak thing. An injury is not an excuse to sit out for a contract. If you don't want to get injured, don't play in the NFL, okay? Sorry, Le'Veon Bell. This isn't helping.
Just give me a long-term contract. Give me my security. Give me a long-term deal. Don't give me these franchise tags.
Okay, but now
stop franchise tagging me every year.
But you got to understand that this hurts Seattle as well.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, they should have traded. I think they're kicking themselves for not trading.
They should have. They were offers second-round picks. They wanted a first. I wasn't going to trade a first. He's great, but he's also
a little
29.
older, yeah.
He's 29. He's ended up there. A couple second-round picks would have been perfectly fine. The Chiefs wanted to trade for him, I heard. The Cowboys, I don't know why they never traded for him. There were a lot of teams. The Atlanta Hawks, they needed a safety badly. They could have traded for him. So it just sucks, but hey.
And I just got to say, rest in peace, Legion of Boom. Because that is done.
And it all ended in Arizona. Every single one of their injuries ended in Arizona. Last year, Sherman,
Interesting.
Cam Chancellor, it's all in Arizona. That stadium's bad for them. The Super Bowl.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, stay away.
And other NFL news, the Panthers signed Eric Reed because they were short of safety, and Eric Reed is a good safety. I'm just upset it took long for him to get signed. This was a good player, an all-pro player who should have been signed way before the season started. But this is a good pickup for a Panthers defense that's already a top defense in the league, and they added an athletic player to that secondary. They have some nice young players in that secondary. With Eric Reed, he could play safety, he could play linebacker, he could play cornerback. So this is good. And what I also like is how he's continuing his stance with Colin Kaepernick. He's probably the only player that's actually been outwardly campaign supporting Kaepernick. None of the other players really have shown their support for Kaepernick the way he's shown it. I'm just glad he got picked up. I think that this was a great pickup for the Panthers.
And he has his collusion case against the NFL too. So this might hurt his collusion case a little bit. Well, I mean, he's signed. I mean,
it might help because the only reason he signed because the Panthers short at safety.
Well, there are plenty other free agent safeties, but I'm glad he's signed. Yeah. He's a good talent. He's still young, 26.
Yeah, he's only 26.
26. So, and he's athletic, like you say. He was an All-Pro a couple years ago. I think it was 4 years ago, but whatever. He's a talented player. He's a really good athlete. So it's good to see him signed. Unfortunately, I don't think Colin Kaepernick will ever be signed.
No, I don't think so either. Unless something like I don't think so. Which is sad, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But he's doing other stuff, and I'm just glad he's doing other stuff besides football. So, salute to Colin Kaepernick. I stand with you, Colin Kaepernick. DraftKings. I didn't think I had a good week in DraftKings.
You had a better week than Craig. I won. We won't go through the scores.
So what is it? I got 2 wins so far. You got 2 as well?
Yeah, it's 2, and big goose egg for Craig. Craig the goose egg. It rhymes. Just thought of that right now.
He's supposed to be the expert here.
No, he is. He's good. He's good with like fantasy, but this weekly thing is a little bit different. It's a little bit different than playing the waiver wire and stuff. Yeah, let's see the lineups. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll show my lineup whenever Pedro puts it up. But I got Cam at quarterback. They're playing the Giants.
He's on my real fantasy team.
Yeah, I got Cam at quarterback. Gio Bernard, a guy who's actually been stepping up the past couple weeks. James White, I think he's going to have a good game. Amari Cooper, watch out. I think he's Calvin Ridley, he's with Julio Jones getting double teamed, he's getting a lot of touchdowns from Julio Jones getting double teamed. Golden Tate, he's been solid for the Lions. He's actually been their best playmaker so far. Vance McDonald,
Stiff arm,
Tyler Boyd, and of course I got the Panthers defense because they are playing the Giants, and Eli Manning will give you some opportunities to intercept them.
We got some similar players here. I got Matt Stafford against Green Bay, which could be a shootout. Which could be it could be a shootout. He had a decent week last week. Yeah. And I'm going to stack him with Golden Tate. Golden Tate's an elusive wide receiver. He's been one of the top wide receivers in the league that people don't really consider a top wide receiver for the past few years. I got Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey. The Panthers are playing the Giants, so it's going to be a battle between those two running backs, and hopefully they're going to win me some points here. I'm going to go with Boyd as well. Dorsett seemed to have some rapport with Brady this week that he didn't have before, so I'm hoping for another big game for him. Jared Cook, like we said, probably the best tight end, at least playing right now in the past few weeks. They got Royce Freeman, who's scored a touchdown, I think in the past 3 games, and he looked good. Those rookie running backs from Denver. And then I liked what I saw out of the Patriots defense. I'm going to go with them. Andrew, there's no T.Y. Hilton, and they're playing the Colts. Yeah. So let's see what Craig has. Or do you want it? You introduce
Go ahead, Craig.
No, I'm still in your thunder, yeah.
Go ahead, Craig. Tell us about this week, Mr. L.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to No Huddle. I'm here on After the Whistle. My name's Craig. My show is called The Flex. It's on Wednesday night at 9. It's on my Facebook page, and you can also check me out at Instagram, _Craig.awesome. But today I'm here to give you your DraftKings picks of the week. When I'm going to start off with a quarterback, I actually spent some money on my quarterbacks and my running backs this week. I went to Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson is going to have a good game this week. They're going up against the Cowboys. The Cowboys' defense, to me, is pretty much non-existent. And Deshaun Watson, I don't think, has disappointed you all season. So look for Deshaun Watson to go up over 20 points for you and be a valuable quarterback in your DraftKings lineup, because I'm not really seeing much else too much better than him. Phillip Rivers is looking good, but I'm going to go with Deshaun Watson. But from the Chargers, I am going to go with Melvin Gordon. For his price tag, he is the best running back in DraftKings. I got a good price on him, so I went with him, and I followed it up with White. I think that's going to be a 1-2 punch for me. I think White is going to do exactly what he did last week. 2 touchdowns, 1 through the air, and 1 up the guts. So if you want to, spend a little money, go with James White. Go with Melvin Gordon and Deshaun Watson. Those 3 guys are money makers right there, but you got to spend money to make money. For my wide receivers, I went on a discount, but I think the wide receivers I got are well undercharged at this point. Will Fuller, beast mode. That dude is catching touchdown passes. He's catching deep passes. He's the man, and I'm going to go with him as often as I can, especially at the price point he's at. Then I'm going to follow it up with Calvin Ridley. You know, he pulled out a great game 2 weeks ago. Last week, he followed it up with 2 touchdowns. I don't think this kid's going to be stopped. He's got Julio Jones to pull the double coverage, leaving him and all his talent wide open. So I'm going to go with Ridley, and I like that matchup against the Steelers. And then I'm going to go with Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd, another wide receiver. He did it 2 weeks ago. He followed it up this week. I trust him, and I think that with the matchup he has against the Dolphins, with A.J. Green pulling double coverage, that he's going to do exactly what he did last week, the same way Ridley did. He's going to follow it up with at least a touchdown, many catches, many yards. Those 3 wide receivers are going to get it done for you. At the tight end position, I think I'm taking a little bit of a risk here, but I like it. Vance McDonald is going to get catches. It's going to be more about volume than it is about touchdowns and yards, but I think he's going to get the volume because they're going to need him to catch passes to get first downs. And there's possibility in the red zone that he might snag a pass. He might do what he did last week and stiff on someone into the dirt and run it for 50 yards for a touchdown. I don't know, but I'm going to trust Vance McDonald's going to get it done for me this week, and I'm going to put him in my DraftKings pick. In the flex, I'm liking Marvin Jones because, frankly, I didn't have much money for anybody else. And they're going up against the Packers. It's rivalry week, baby. And I think Marvin Jones is going to get at least 1 touchdown, and he's going to get a few passes. I think Golladay is going to take away some of that coverage and leave Jones open for a few yards. And then with my defense, I'm going Kansas City Chiefs this week. I don't know what it is, but I have a feeling. I think Jaguars' offense is suspect. I think the Patriots is the only team that makes Blake Bortles look good. And I think the Chiefs are going to get at him all day. I think that their run game is almost non-existent without Leonard Fournette. They can pass out of the backfield, but they're not running up the guts. And when it comes to their wide receivers, I think their best days are behind them. Once again, it was because they were playing the Patriots and we weren't together as a defense that made them look so good. Keelan Cole is okay, and he had that great catch, but what has he done since? D.D. Westbrook, who? Chiefs defense this week. Trust me, I would go with him. So those are my DraftKings picks for the week. My name is Craig. This is No Huddle. We're on After the Whistle. Check out my show, The Flex, Wednesday nights, 9 o'clock, or check me out on Facebook. Check me out on Instagram, _Craig.awesome. Have a good night. Good luck.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Craig. Hopefully you have better luck this week. I'm entirely sure you will. Let's jump to some MMA, which we don't talk too much about because it seems like it's oversaturated fights these days, but this is a big one coming up. We got McGregor versus Khabib, whose last name I can't pronounce, but apparently he's a pretty tough Russian dude. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about him, but of course we all know Conor McGregor, and this will be a huge pay-per-view event. The dude's undefeated, Khabib, so, and I guess he's a really solid wrestler.
So I've heard.
He's not afraid. I think Pedro knows more about this fight than we do, but like he's always unwilling to come on camera for some reason.
McGregor back in the octagon is going to be a big. He's already started with his antics in the press conference last week, and he's just being him. But this is great. Anytime McGregor's in the octagon, it's just great for the MMA because despite antics and all that, he is good for the sport. He does take on the top competitors. There's a lot of hype around this fight, and a lot of people are saying McGregor is going to have his hands full with this fighter. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I can't wait to see it.
Well, also it's a little personal because if you remember when McGregor threw the chair at the bus or whatever he threw, Khabib was actually on that bus.
Yeah. And it injured one of his friends.
It injured one of his friends or training partners, something like that. So there's it's a little personal here, and I do not like Conor McGregor, so I hope he gets KO'd, and that's what I am going to predict. He is going to get KO'd.
KO'd?
Conor KO'd.
All right. I mean, we could just put these together, the Celtics season preview. We could just talk about that. They played 3 preseason games so far. They can't shoot from the 3 right now. They're shooting like
16% against the Cavaliers.
They were 28% in 3 games. So
overall,
they need to work on that. But I'm looking. This is probably the most excited I've been for a Celtics season since probably KG got here. Everybody's coming back. We got Hayward coming back. Kyrie's coming back.
Marcus Smart, your favorite player, got re-signed.
Marcus Smart, I turned the TV on yesterday. He shot a 3 and it was like an air ball. I was like, oh.
He still led the team in points against the Cavaliers.
So I think this is gonna be a fun time. This is gonna be a fun team to watch. They've got a lot of talent. They've got a lot of athleticism. I think the role players are gonna be key for them this season. Their bench is gonna be key. Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, Marcus Morris, Daniel Tice. He was a key player. He was a key player for them coming off the bench last season. I think with him coming back, it's going to be good. So I'm just really excited about this season. In the East right now, a lot of people are saying the Cavs aren't going to be good. I think the Cavs are going to be a playoff team. They have enough talent to be in the playoffs. I don't know what seed, but they're going to be in the playoffs. The Sixers, the Raptors, and the Bucks. That's about it. That's who I'm looking at right now in the Eastern Conference right now.
Wait, did you say Toronto?
Yeah, I said Toronto.
Okay, I missed
Toronto's going to
You're actually saying Toronto, okay.
Yeah, because they're actually going to have a guy who won't fold under pressure when it comes playing in a big game. They still have Kyle Lowry there. Yeah.
So you're not a little bit worried with what you saw in the preseason?
No.
Because Brad Stevens said he couldn't, this were his words, he couldn't be more unimpressed with what he's seen so far.
I wouldn't be impressed either. It's terrible basketball. Once again, it's better to do this in the preseason than in the regular season. So.
But there's always that hype, especially when you have young players like Jaylen Brown and Terry Rozier and Tatum, where maybe they hear that they're the favorite and they hear that they're so good. So maybe they're sort of taking it for granted and not, just taking it for granted, not taking their opponents seriously, maybe feeling too entitled.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you said, it's the preseason.
Yeah.
Let's hope that doesn't happen. If it starts to happen during the regular season, then you'll be worried. But I think Brad Stevens is a coach who can turn it around.
Preseason is when you just see what you're not doing well, and then you just work on it until season starts. Season starts October 16th against the Sixers home opener, so it's going to be a great one.
Let's talk about one real quick rumor that's been pushed around. Anthony Davis to the Celtics or Lakers. Do you think there's any possibility of that?
Probably to the Lakers. Trust me, the Lakers somehow always make big moves all the time in their history. But I don't know, because Anthony Davis I think he's still got 3 years left on his contract. So I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know what assets. But the Lakers have assets.
Mm-hmm. Well, Celtics have assets too.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Assets and picks. So we'll see. It would be interesting.
Bruins.
Oh yes. So Bruins start tonight. We filmed this on a Wednesday. I think they're playing the Washington Capitals away in Washington, and this is going to be an interesting season because a lot of the young guys are going to be forced to take on bigger roles. McAvoy, DeBrusque, Donato will probably play a big role. Heinen. Those guys need to grow probably faster because they're going to make up a big core of these starting lineups. And they're going to be playing with the veterans, of course. You're still probably going to have Pasternak, Bergeron, and Marchand as the top line. And they were one of the best, if not the best, top line in the NHL last season. I don't expect them to fall off, but you really need these younger guys to step up and form a core.
Yeah, hopefully they could take us to the Stanley Cup this year.
Yeah, and one guy I think we're really going to miss is Adam McQuaid. It's because of his physicality, and I know fighting's still not really a big part of hockey, but he was one of the better fighters, if not the second best fighter on the team.
Man.
No, but you need that guy on the ice to regulate, especially when you have young, smaller guys rolling around, and guys will take shot at them. That's just how it's regulated. So Kevin Miller's going to have to step up and have some more fights. Chara and Backus.
Charles Barkley always says every team needs a crazy guy.
They need a crazy guy, and they do need some people to drop the gloves. In hockey, it's not as big as it was before, but you do have to protect those players, especially Marchand, who people take runs at a lot. Yeah. And when McQuaid was on the ice, they thought twice about it sometimes. So hopefully, we don't miss all that toughness. But just one more thing about it, this season's going to come down to how well Tuukka Rask plays.
Tuukka Rask, I believe in you. Get it done. We're going to do a little switching around. See, we do things on the fly here. We're going to go to Athletes Corner, and then we're going to come back to wrap it up with college football, NFL.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Athletes Corner, I hope it's in there. I think it's in there. It should be in there. Private Jewels, boxing.
Coming up.
So the Private Jewels after-school boxing program is now a nonprofit that Alex had going on for a couple of years now.
We strictly provide a whole gym and exercise. Say you don't want to box. Say you just want to train for something. Say you're an athlete of some other sport, basketball, etc., etc. Well, you can come here and train with us, train some boxing, still be under the program, and you could still use our resources to help you get through school.
Truthfully, boxing being an individual sport, I mean, there's no I in team, and you definitely need your team in this sport if you're going to be successful. It's the only way is to work hard with your teammates, train, fight, win. That's the motto.
Before I started training, I felt, scared, shy, and now I'm feeling better about myself that I can do stuff. This thing does teach you a lot of stuff. They come here, they exercise, they put a lot of hard work, they start feeling more confident. It's something that teaches them that you're not weak, you are a strong person, you're independent.
The things I learned from boxing to put it in the classroom is mainly the same things that you're going to learn with everything you do. Boxing is just one outlet to learn it, discipline, focus, trying to avoid distractions, all these things. Boxing has helped me throughout my life with learning these things, you know what I'm saying?
Well, what we want to do is we don't want to just breed boxers or athletes. We want to breed educated athletes so that they have something to fall back on.
I'm trying to do this for my dad and myself, so I can protect myself when I'm older, protect my parents, Maybe, try to go to a few tournaments.
Health is wealth. It's not easy with all the temptations in the world that the kids face and that I faced before too, but we surely just have to come out on top. That's all. We have to keep striving for the best and being the best we can be.
But they really understand what it means to give back to your community and what it means to really have a future ahead of you. These are kids that really never thought they were going to be anything more than just a street hustler or whatever, and now they're looking to go to college. We've linked up with Year Up, and we're creating a youth build here. So these kids now have something to look forward to, and they're excited. So they really want to be here.
Coach Alex said to me that it wasn't a boxing academy, it was a life academy.
We're back.
We're back. See how we can hear Pedro laughing. He tricked us because normally they do the after the whistle thing where we come back, but he was trying to catch us off guard. I think I might have been picking my nose, so he always tries to catch us when we're not at our best. Thank you very much, Pedro. We're going to talk about NCAA football real quick because the time runs out.
We got like 7 minutes left because we go by fast here. So Ohio State had got a big win on the road at Penn State. They were down 26-14 in the fourth quarter at this game. They started off real slow. Ohio State started off real slow, but Penn State couldn't capitalize. They got ample opportunity in the red zone, but they kicked field goals early. And then
speed
kills. And then 4th and 5, Penn State is down 26-27. Their quarterback has been running all over the place. Ohio State had no answer for him when he was on the move or when he was passing, and they drew up a draw play on 4th and 5, which got swallowed by the young player. His last name's Young. They couldn't block him all game. Penn State couldn't block him all game, and they drew and he sniffed it out in ball game, and everybody was criticizing that call, rightfully so, because it was a terrible
That might have
call.
worked last year with Saquon Barkley.
It might have,
but
yeah.
it doesn't work here. You don't do a draw on 4th and 5.
Especially on 4th and 5.
I don't know. You shouldn't do a draw on 4th in anything.
Yeah.
You got to throw the ball on 4th and 5.
And all they needed was a field goal. They were getting closer to field goal range too, so they had some questionable play calls. But a big win for Ohio State on the road.
Yeah, an option. If you're going to run the ball on 4th down with the quarterback who's moving so well, at least run an option play and get outside.
All right, it's time for our weekly college football predictions.
Oh, are we doing those? Well, there's only one game, I think, that's really super interesting, and that's Texas versus Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Texas, right now they're ranked 19, but they've had wins over USC and TCU. They only had one bad loss the first game of the season versus Maryland. If they could beat Oklahoma here, which Oklahoma is probably, they're ranked 7 and they're undefeated, but I feel like Texas could pull out the upset here. I really do. I'm looking for a Texas upset in this game.
I have this thing. I just never want to root for Oklahoma. It's deep in my blood. I just don't like Oklahoma.
You don't like the Midwest?
I don't like Oklahoma for some reason.
Too flat for you?
Too much flat. Too much of nothing over there in Oklahoma. So I'm going with Texas in this game. They better.
All right, we both got Texas.
Tom Herman, this is your second year. If you win this one, this will be a big win for the program as we scroll
down. And they have
down.
a really tough schedule this year, Texas.
They really do. Now we got some more games. ACC, Boston College at number 23, NC State.
Well, Boston College, I was thinking that they were going to lose again last week, but luckily they came back. I don't know, Boston College, because I like them.
I'm picking Boston College for biased reasons. I know a lot of people that went there, that graduated from there. My aunt graduated from there, so I'm picking Boston College.
Okay.
For that one, Clemson, Wake Forest.
Really?
Yeah.
Clemson. Even though their quarterback is up in question, we don't know who's actually going to be the quarterback. LSU, come on.
And Florida State versus Miami.
Miami.
All right, I got Miami.
I think those games are pretty obvious. That's why I don't think there's that many really great matchups this week.
No, not that
Last week was full of them.
Yeah, let's go to our NFL. We got some First, before we make our NFL predictions for this week, we got to go back to last week's prediction.
Yeah, because I'm not keeping track. You should be keeping track of these things.
Yeah, this is how we keep track. We got the predictions in there.
Vikings versus Rams.
It is in LA, Rams.
I'm going to go Rams as well. Texans, Colts.
Colts?
Yeah, I'm going to go Texans. I think they're going to get their first win of the season.
I don't trust
Bills, Packers.
Packers, hesitantly.
Packers. Buccaneers, Bears.
Bears.
I'm going with the Bucks. Dolphins, Patriots. Don't you dare. Don't you dare think about this.
All right, I'm going to go Patriots.
Yeah, I'm going to go Patriots too. Lions versus Cowboys. This is a gutter game.
I'm just not cheering for I'm going to go with the Lions just because I don't want to pick the Cowboys.
I'm going to go with the Lions too. Bengals versus Falcons.
Falcons.
Jets versus Jaguars.
Jets.
Really? No, I'm going with the Jags.
Alert.
I don't think so. Eagles versus Titans. Bet that money line if you believe it then. Eagles versus Titans.
What is this game at?
It's in Tennessee.
Titans.
Really? I'm going to go with the Eagles. Browns versus Raiders.
The Raiders.
I like that. Seahawks versus Cardinals.
Cardinals. They got to get one.
The Hawks. No way. I think Josh Rosen's going to start. Saints versus Giants.
Saints.
It's a tough one. I'm going to go with the Giants here. Saints don't have a defense. 49ers versus Chargers.
The Chargers.
Yeah, C.J. Beathard. That's all you got to say. Chargers. Ravens versus Steelers.
Ravens.
I'm going with the Steelers. And then Chiefs versus Broncos.
Patrick Mahomes.
It's in Denver. I think that Denver is going to hurt. Patrick Mahomes' his first loss of the season, unfortunately.
Patrick Mahomes, don't let me down.
My upset
Throw
alert.
them touchdowns. That just rhymed.
We're watching the video, and he doesn't do the spin back thing. He's really trying to catch us off guard today. He's making us look bad.
It's prediction time.
All right.
Colts,
Let's do
Patriots.
Come on. Patriots.
Patriots. Titans, Bills.
Oh, we're Titans.
I have the Titans.
49ers. 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 49
Dolphins, Bengals.
Bengals.
Same, Bengals. Ravens, Browns.
You know, I'm going to go for an upset and go with Cleveland Browns.
Ravens. Packers, Lions.
I'm gonna go with another upset and say the Lions.
Packers. Jaguars, Chiefs.
This is gonna be a tough one. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs get their first loss of the season. Jaguars.
I'm going Chiefs. It's in Arrowhead. Broncos, Jets.
Broncos.
Jets.
Falcons,
Falcons,
Steelers. It's 2 times in a week.
Falcons, Steelers.
Falcons.
Steelers. Giants, Panthers.
Panthers.
Cam. Raiders, Chargers.
Chargers.
Raiders. Vikings, Eagles.
Oh, interesting. Vikings bounce back.
Eagles. Cardinals, Niners.
This is probably the worst game of the week. I'm going to go with Josh Rosen and the Cardinals.
Niners. Seahawks, Rams.
Rams.
Texans, Cowboys.
Texans 2 in a row.
Texans. Skins, Saints.
Saints for sure.
I'm going with the Saints, and with that, on that note, we are out of time.
Ah, perfect.
That's our predictions. Guys, thank y'all for coming. Movie night this coming Monday. Come check it out.
Hereditary. It's a scary, one of the scariest ones. Do not bring your children. It's adults only.
Don't bring the kids. And we are out of here. I'm going to Miami this weekend. We out of here. We'll see you guys next week. I got my Cubans.